Here I'd recommend, if you want to understand more of this, it's called, I think it's Offensive Countermeasures by John Strand and Paul Asadori. Can't recommend that one enough because Strand's actually one of the guys that's built a couple of these really annoying kind of tools. And there are others who might do stuff like that. Just a second. Okay, so if we go back now, we're looking at recon to figure out enumeration. One of the things you want to do, email naming convention. Check. You can look people up. You can find out kind of what they're. I'll be darned, I can't find it. Normally Google never fails me on this one, but you can, email naming convention, I'm sorry, I don't have the link for you, but you would do that if you're targeting a company, you go look them up. Okay, I don't work there anymore. I was helping to spell Bull Valley. Are you guys your CA or stuff?
Should we tell you?
I'll find out.
CA.
All right. Okay, records at, yeah, that's kind of generic. First initial, not last. Okay, right there, email format. Bull Valley uses this. Great. So now you would write a script for this enumeration tool that takes, I don't know, the top 100 most common last names in the country they work in. No sense sending a whole bunch of Mediterranean names if these guys are in Yugoslavia. No. So you kind of find where their operating is. Now, that's a little weird.
You get everything that needs to be done.
So what I find works better instead, because thank goodness Canada's multicultural and we have lots of surnames from every nationality, and they will be in here because it's first dot last. So you're going to see all kinds of variations. But if you look for most common surnames in a given country, you'll find a lot because odds are good. Even if you're originally from another country, or your parents were, and that's your surname, you're operating out of Canada. You know what? You show up in the list. And so there's a lot of names you wouldn't expect in the top 100 in Canada, for example. That it's like, oh yeah, I know 8 people with that surname. So throw them in, and now just A to them, B. It's like, I got 8,000 of them. Yeah, there's a script for that. Go into Cali, find one of the numerous email enumerators. The only catch is you've got to find a mail server that cooperates. And often what happens is that these people will forget about one. So let's just do this for a second. So I know this guy. He probably won't care if you try and hack his stuff. He might just use you in the lab. All right, so this guy here, which is me, by the way. This is my very first name. This thing's like so well aged and it does nothing. You see, there's a male 1 and a male 2. There could be a male 3. I'm not even sure either of those are. I know at least one of them's alive because I still get spam on it. But there's a good possibility one of them is dead. And I wouldn't care because nothing can prevent them except spam anymore. How many of us know about companies or work at a company where we're not exactly sure where all our stuff is that's on the internet? Yeah. Well, Google knows, the DNS people know. It's like, so you go poke at all those and go, oh, there's this mail server they forgot about that's still. Well, we need to shut that one off. Yeah, I suggest you do that because it's still telling me who all your users are. So that's what that is, like finding the little chinks in the armor. It's not gonna be like Mr. Robot where you click on something and there you go. Maybe once you're inside the organization and you see there's a vulnerability and there's a script you've got, for sure. And what a rush the first time that you actually run something and suddenly it's like, I'm on this other machine and I'm not supposed to be. This is like awesome. If that excites you, there's a guy down there named Steve Porter, who runs a great operation. Go see him. See him, we're good.
I appreciate that. Your check's in the mail.
I get a check. That's good. I thought it's just good.
Yugoslavian dollars.
Oh, yeah. So, secure that dollars. You can trade it for pen. So that's one approach is looking for your people. Look for weak infrastructure that's left over, but be mindful of the countermeasures that they might have in place and be prepared to pivot. Like by that I mean how many people are familiar with the MITRE attack matrix? Okay. So that's good. It's just like, what the heck's that? No, it's fantastic. I'm really a fan. And there's this piece here called resource development. That's you, the hacker. Okay? These are the things that you're doing, setting this stuff up. And that can be costly and time consuming. Nowadays with cloud, it's a lot cheaper, but it can still be a problem. But you'll notice even that. Enterprise, what's the very first thing they're doing is recon, right? So if you're thinking about, I want to learn more about this, this is a thing. If you're thinking about it more from the defensive side, go here, look at these things and go, what do we have for this? So active scanning, what do we have to detect against active scanning? Well, you've got firewall logs, okay? Has anybody looked at their firewall logs to see what's coming through? Yeah. Do you have a lot of people scanning you? That's how you know your firewall's working. That's good. Don't worry about it. It's against the law. It's wrong. And even in the CTF, we're going to get you to do some scanning. And it's like, but before we tell you what to go look for, we're going to make sure you know where you're scanning because we want you to play safe. But yeah, if you accidentally color outside of the lines, I doubt anybody would notice if you're using certain types of tools. So the number one tool you want to use is Nmap. Any non-Nmap fans? I'm not talking about performance, I'm talking about overall, if you do one tool, it would be Nmap. Yes, it's the best one there is because there's so many other things that you can do with it. But once you've figured out what you're after, now you're going to go and try and break in. So let's pretend there's nothing out there. How would we do that? We're going to figure out some users, we're going to fish them. What if they're all recently graduates of the good quality fish training and security awareness? They go, yeah, I don't think so. And they don't fall for it. What's the next thing you're going to have to do?
I prefer social media personally.
Okay, find out what they leaked. Okay, so you can find out what they liked, what they participated in, who their dog is, and all the rest. And then, what would you do with that information?
Possible dictionary attacks, maybe?
Right, but rather than a random dictionary, who's heard of John the Ripper? All right, strange name, really cool feature. So here's some word lists that you've got. All right, here's some examples of lists that here's how you run it. A bunch of crazy shellcode and stuff, but you give it this list and it'll try that login against that data type to crack stuff. But you don't have anything to crack yet, except maybe a login to a webmail page or something like that, right? So you can also use this as a generator. If I give you a name, like, what would be a good example? How about Go Flames Go? That would work.
Calgary 123.
Calgary 123, okay? But we've got a password complexity program in place. What's the default password complexity of a Windows domain?
Uppercase, lowercase number.
Uppercase, lowercase number. No, special characters not mandatory. In a default, 8 characters, upper and lower. So it's 8 characters, mixed case and a number, or symbol. Somebody can challenge me on that. So yeah, okay, sure. Guess what? They're all like that. Okay, that'll get you there unless somebody's gone through, because nothing like a 15-character password on a Tuesday after a long weekend in the summer to light up your help desk with password resets.
Absolutely.
So people learn from that well-meaning security guy, 15 characters, no repeats for the last 400 tries, and yeah.
And a mandatory 30-day reset.
Mandatory 30-day, but yeah, none of this you can change after 3 days because that password wasn't rememberable. The best passwords are rememberable to you, but not to other people. And so as a result, if you are truly a Calgary Flames fan, Go Flames Go has a very good chance of being in there, especially around what? End of March, start of April, followed by, you pissed me off again right around midday.
So,
Yeah, right. Every year we're hopeful, every year we're let down, except one. Okay, so you're gonna use that, but use those keywords. And what you can do is you can go to the company website, because there's also things like names of projects and names of CEOs. I wonder how many organizations out there have a password where a certain manager isn't desirable for whatever reason. All of those kinds of things can go in there, but you can use that as your dictionary, and then you can set these rules on there. See, I think they had Charles read, so get the password of generation. And you see right here, maybe just try and blow this up. So I just kind of, there's the plus, there we are. Is that visible back there? Okay, so password isn't gonna work, okay? There's nobody's gonna, no Windows domain, even like next, Windows guy making it. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna be in there. So there's no sense even trying that. And why wouldn't you want to try that? Because it's gonna generate a failed login. And if this list, like the Rocky list is what, 400,000, like something gigantic?
I think it's like 14 million now.
Yeah. And a lot of them are pretty weak passwords. And these are real passwords that were found out there. So it's scary to think that your own company, where you're the mailroom, you need 8 characters mixed case, but your bank account, you could use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's all good. But Darwin has a way of taking care of those people too, okay? It's like, you wouldn't be homeless if you had better passwords. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but I do think that there are problems where people can't maintain incredibly complex passwords. So I don't complain to anybody about using I love you as your password. What I say is mix it up. Instead of the I, what about the shift exclamation mark? It still looks like an I. And instead of an O or E, why not use 0 and 3? Now I've got numbers. Oh, and mix up one of them. Do you want to? This really messes up the password crackers, by the way, for those of you defensive now. If you're going to do the adding the number and all the rest, don't add it at the end and the start, add it in the middle. Because all of these tools work by adding this stuff on the end. So how many passwords out there are password 1? Followed by, you must reset every 30 days. What's their next password?
2.
Yeah, right. And a month after that, password 3. Okay, I only need 12 guesses. Or this company, they let everybody on and it's welcome 22, or welcome spring, or like, a generic one. And everybody comes in and they go, oh, that's great. I'll just use that and add a 1 to it. So we'll see those kinds of things. So get that common list and then run it through one of these password generators and try that against your list. Your odds don't get that much better, but your odds of getting caught go way down. And especially if you slow it down, if you're only checking 10,000 passwords instead of 14 million, do the math. I go 1 every 10 seconds, that's good.
5 minutes.
Maybe an hour, a couple days, I don't know, somewhere in there. 14 million, 1 every 10 seconds to stay nice and slow. I'll see you when the Flames are in the playoffs. Just before they exit. I know.
If I
Yeah, I get it. So, where's this all leading to? So those are a couple gigantic freaking hints at how you might play this game. All right, so there's some recon. There's some ways to test yourselves. Yes, there's prizes. There's going to be a lot more questions. I've just been kind of busy. I got a whole spreadsheet full of questions. And the guys from CrowdStrike are putting them on the same board. Hopefully soon they should see them here actually. See if refresh. Has George actually been working or is he just drinking coffee? He's drinking coffee. Anyway, so yeah, here you go. You would log into this, get on the board. Why would we want that? So you can say, I participated in the CTF for the very first time. If you've never done this, you could do this with a web browser. You log in, we could do it on an iPad, no degree of difficulty required. And it asks you a question, okay? And you read the question, and there's hints sometimes. If the question's harder, and you gotta go sign up to it. But they get harder degrees of difficulty. And I think it was you that said, go for the stuff you know, right? Like, there may be things on network targeting that you don't get, but you're really good at social engineering and recon. Sometimes teaming up with somebody. So that's why pen test teams do all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we plugged it in there. It's B-Sides, YYC, CPF, IO. The password to register is Challenger, because there's going to be 3 kinds of challenges there. Okay, one for radio frequency stuff, which I'll be racing back to here in very short order. There's the CrowdStrike team have put together a bunch of stuff, and George and I were comparing notes. He came up to me this morning, was so excited. I figured out how to do data exfil. Only people like us go, that's cool. Everybody goes, what is that? So here's the place where they actually think that's cool. You get to go try and see if you can find it in the CrowdStrike interface. So if you've never used it, that's great. If you have, then you got a leg up. And then when you get on the board, you're going to answer questions. And when you answer a question, you may get more questions that open up because now that you know that, go look for these things. And in order to do that, you can go, I think we actually have a friendly URL, but you would log in. He said he sent me the email, but you log in here with one of those user accounts, and you can get them, just come down and talk to us, and we'll hand them out. It's really simple. It's like hacking, and then user 1, user 2, or something like that. And then you can use this web browser. If you have a Kali machine of your own or your own thing, we've actually got a Wi-Fi system already down there that you can come in and use. We could probably rig up some hard wires. I've got a big box of cables that we don't mind to take. And the password for the Wi-Fi is the hit song from my friend Int 80, a dual core, all the things. That's all one word. So if you haven't seen Hack All the Things, the official video, I was there the night after the whole dance thing. It's like they did that thing twice on this. Anyway, that's it. We're downstairs in the North Campus,
North
which
Campus,
is what
yeah.
we call it. So just across the plus 15. Happy to answer questions. I have 2 ex-wives and 4 children. Social engineering will not work on me. But I'm happy. I'm a rising tide lifts all boats. So if I can make you a better attacker or defender, it's good for the whole industry. That's why I will keep doing it. So, hopefully you got something out of this. We'll be back again tomorrow.